What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to look at some of the best exercises for a shoulder dislocation. So if you notice that your shoulder feels loose or it's partially or fully come out of the socket in the past, then I'm going to show you exercises that can be used to help stabilize the joint and to limit your risk of having a future dislocation. So when we think about shoulder subluxations and dislocations, what happens is the ball, your shoulder's a ball and socket, the ball pops out of the joint. In most cases, it's an anterior dislocation, so the ball comes forward out of the socket. When this happens, it can damage the ligaments and the joint capsule, which are referred to as our passive restraints. They are elements we don't have voluntary control over. So when those are stretched out, we have to work on training our neuromuscular system, our nerves and muscles, those things that we have voluntary control over. If we work on strengthening and training those muscles and nerves, we can regain some of the stability in our shoulder. When it comes to shoulder dislocations, one of the primary muscle groups you're going to work is your rotator cuff. These are four muscles that surround the shoulder joint, and one of their primary functions is to provide stability to the joint. So a lot of people have seen these exercises before, but they're some of the most important ones to incorporate when your shoulder does have some instability or you've had a dislocation. For these first two, you're going to take a hand towel, kind of roll it up like this, and then what you're going to do is what works best is to use a piece of elastic band, or I have this elastic tubing. If you need some of this, it comes in different colors, which will be how strong it is. I'll put a link down in the description for a set of this so you can work your way through. I'm going to show all the exercises on my right arm, so just flip everything over if it's your left arm. So you're going to take this small towel roll, place it in between your elbow and your side, and you're going to step out a little bit so that there's some tension on the band and your hand is close to your stomach. So this first exercise is called external rotation. It's going to strengthen two of our rotator cuff muscles on the back of the shoulder blade. These two muscles are called infraspinatus and teres minor. So what you're going to do is turn out nice and slow all the way through as far as you can. We have about 70 degrees of external rotation, and then come in nice and slow, about 3 to 4 seconds on the way in. Kind of reset, move if you need to find the right tension, and then go back out again. So you're just moving nice and slow, especially on the way back in, the eccentric contraction. So about 2 to 3 seconds on the way out through full range of motion. You can do a small isometric hold there at the end, and then a 3 to 4 second eccentric contraction. For all of the exercises in this video, you're going to go for 3 sets of 10 to 15 repetitions, but really the key is just go until you're fatigued. If you can go way past 15 repetitions and you're not tired, then you need to choose a stronger band. Okay, so that's our first one, shoulder external rotation. All right, so the second exercise is going to be shoulder internal rotation. I actually switched to my left arm so that you can see my front side, otherwise you'd see my back. So just make sure you do this all on your one arm that's injured. For internal rotation, you're going to start with your arm out. This is going to strengthen another rotator cuff muscle called subscapularis. Its tendon runs across the front of our joint, so it's really important for adding stability to the front side of the joint, especially if you've had an anterior dislocation. So for this one, again, towel roll in between your elbow and your side, arm starting out, and now you're going to turn into shoulder internal rotation, 2 to 3 seconds on the way in, little isometric hold, and then 3 to 4 seconds through the eccentric contraction on the way out. Again, 3 sets, 10 to 15 repetitions. Make sure to choose a band that is challenging. If you have a little bit of discomfort while you do it, that's usually okay as long as the pain's not flared up afterwards. And you're just really looking for getting to a point of fatigue like you would with any strengthening exercise. You want it to be fatiguing towards the end so that you know you're introducing the right amount of stress to cause the muscles to adapt and get stronger. Okay, so those are our first 2 exercises, standing external rotation and standing internal rotation. Now we're going to do those same 2 exercises in a different position of the shoulder. This is called the 90-90 position. It's a position that puts the shoulder in a more unstable position, so it's really important to strengthen and improve stability in this other position, especially if you're somebody you ever want to be throwing or doing any kind of overhead sports. You want to gain stability up in those positions. So for this one, use your same tubing. You're going to sit down, or you can be standing with the band up a little bit higher. You want your elbow and your shoulder to be at about 90 degrees. So I've got a 90-degree angle here in my armpit and a 90-degree angle in my elbow. And then what I'm going to do is turn out into external rotation. So this is like the first exercise, it's just that I'm starting in a different position. Find the tension that's good on the band. You're going to start here with your forearm parallel to the floor and then rotate up so that your fist is pointing up towards the ceiling. Again, 2 to 3 seconds through the concentric contraction on the way up, and then 3 to 4 really slow on the eccentric contraction. Still looking at that 3 sets of 10 to 15 repetitions, nice and slow like that. Okay, so that's external rotation. Now I'm going to switch arms just so you can see a little bit better, but make sure, again, do it all on your one arm that's injured. For internal rotation, I'm going to switch so that I'm facing away from the band, and I'm going to start up here at the top position, so fist towards the ceiling, and then I'm going to rotate into internal rotation, keeping that armpit angle at about 90 degrees, and then back nice and slow. So on this one, the concentric contraction is when I'm going forward, so I can go a little faster there, 2 to 3 seconds, and then the eccentric is on the way back, nice and slow, 3 to 4 seconds with that one. Okay, so this is going to work subscapularis again, that subscapularis muscle on the front of the shoulder joint. A lot of people, when they dislocate their shoulder, their arm is up in this position and they lose control and the ball pops forward. So this position, you want to be careful with it, but it's a great one for improving shoulder stability, especially on the front side of the shoulder. Okay, so those are our second two exercises, internal and external rotation in the 90-90 position. Here's our final exercise. This exercise is going to be closed chain in nature, which means I'm going to have my hands fixed on the ground. I'm basically going to be in a push-up position. The other exercises were open chain, where the hand was free in space. We usually start with open chain exercises in rehab, and then we'll progress to this as the person is gaining stability and getting better. So just wait on this one if you don't feel ready for it. You could even just get in push-up position and just practice holding that as a way to work your rotator cuff and those muscles that add stability to the joint. I'm going to use a band for this, so what's going to happen is I'm going to put this loop band around my wrists. I will put a link again down in the description for this if you need a set of these. I'm going to put my hands down about shoulder width, and I'm going to be in push-up position. So like I said, if this is brand new, just start here. You could just do 15 to 30 second holds in push-up position. You can kind of find the neutral zone, kind of move your shoulder blades back and forth, find the middle zone, and just work on an isometric hold right here. This is a great way to build strength and stability in the shoulders. Now, as you are okay with just holding this position, we're going to start adding clocks. So if my right arm is the shoulder that's been dislocated, I'm going to practice one time having my weight on my right arm and one time my right arm moving. So basically you'll just alternate side to side, but I'm going to reach with one hand kind of through different positions of the clock. So right now I'm reaching with my left arm, and then I could trade and reach with my right arm. So mostly this exercise is really going to work the arm that you're putting your weight on. So again, if my right arm has been injured, when I reach with my left arm, that's what's really going to train my right arm. All that weight is on my right arm and shoulder, and it's extremely fatiguing just to do a few reps of this. So with this particular exercise, you might not be doing the 3 sets of 10 to 15 repetitions. It might be that you just go through the series 5 reps, and maybe you do 3 sets like that. So that's called a banded shoulder clock. You don't have to start with a band, right? You could just even be in push-up position. Another one we like to do is just be here and just work on tapping each shoulder. So this is a good in-between. Maybe you can hold push-up position, and that's easy. So you just go to shoulder taps, and you just go back and forth, kind of try to brace your core, and just go back and forth and tap like that. So that can be a good progression. Start by holding push-up position, go to the shoulder taps, and then use the band and work the clocks. So you guys, those are a few exercises that can help if you have dislocated your shoulder or subluxed your shoulder. Give them a try and let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye. One last note, my new book is out. It came out actually almost a year ago in May. It is 500 pages in length and has rehab programs for the most common injuries and pain issues. Each body region has its own chapter. This issue we're talking about today of shoulder dislocations and subluxations, there's a program for this in the shoulder chapter. It's called shoulder instability, which basically means, an unstable shoulder joint. So it could be, again, people who've had dislocations and subluxations, labral tears. All of these programs will take you through 3 phases, pictures of me doing the exercises, and are more comprehensive really than my YouTube videos. These are more like a program you'd get if you want to see a physical therapist. So if you'd like to have a resource at your house for the most common injuries and pain issues, I will put a link for the book down in the description.